Right, so you're welcome to 2025, and this is the first episode of the CineVersations podcast right here on GH Movie Freak TV. Like always, my name is Tony Asankoma, and before I get to today's guest, I would entreat you to subscribe to this channel if you already haven't. Invite as many people as you can to subscribe to this channel as well, and let's just have a conversation. Let's just build a family. Let's just talk about film. Let's just have CineVersations. Like I promised, I'm going to try my best to have more interesting people come on as guests on this podcast, but I'll need your help to make that happen. And yeah, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on the conversation we're about to have. Let me know your thoughts on the guest I have on today's episode as well. And don't forget to share this video as well. My guest for today is an actor. He's also a screenwriter. He's a very passionate young creative, someone that works in the Ghanaian film space. And today we are going to have an interesting conversation about what I believe is the perspective of the Ghanaian film industry, or the state of the Ghanaian film industry from the perspective of an actor who is on the rise. So my guest is none other than fine boy, Majeed Suhuyini. Oh, hey, I just kissed. Okay, I forgot to add my applause. Why my applause? Applause.
Yes, let it come.
Right.
I guess this is also my Pierre. That's Mufasa.
Right. That was your moment coming on to the CineVersations podcast. Once again, welcome to the show. We've been planning to have this conversation for quite some time now. I'm happy that you made time to be my guest today. Like I said, we are going to have a conversation about, acting, your perspective, or what you think, or how you see things for the Ghanaian film industry. But before we go into that, let me just say congratulations on the success of Adam the First. Let's have some applause for that one.
Thank you.
Right,
and
so
to all the cast and crew of
exactly,
Adam the First.
Yes. For all those who are wondering what I'm congratulating him for, the project is now referred to as the B.A.T.U Project, Adam the First, and it has had a very impressive outing at the just ended Miami International Science Fiction Festival, where it's actually picked up 3 awards: Best Zero Budget Feature Film, Best Afrofuturism Film, and the Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival Beacon Award. The Beacon Award actually is the festival's highest honor, and it's more or less like something that you should be, if you're a science fiction nerd or you are anybody that makes science fiction films, it's something that you should be aiming towards. So once again, congrats to you and the team behind this film.
Thank you. We've come a long way. I mean, having that film in the process for like 5 years,
right?
It's not an easy thing. A lot of artists gave up on it. A lot of hurdles, a lot of back and forth, and all of that. So, seeing it, gain international attention like this makes the 5 years worth it. You get it, and thank you so much for the congratulations.
Right. Let me take you back to this project has been around for 5 years. So what was the experience for you like working on this film? Let me take it a step further. When you were introduced to the project, what was the conversation like? What made you want to be a part of it?
So I think that was just like the beginning stages of Saibus and our friendship. That is when it started, because there was on social media, see each other stuff, going on, and we admire each other work, and I admire the way he do things. I think he had done the Northern King before, And also, we were working on a particular project. What's the name? Cousin Snare. Yeah, we're working on this project called Cousin Snare,
Yeah.
which never got to see the daylight. But it
Yeah.
was such a beautiful project. But I think whilst the conversation kept going on about Adam the First, and for me at that time, I was like, yo, whatever it is, just bring it on board. Let's see how we can collaborate on it. And then when I first saw the script, I was like, wow, because it's not something that is very usual in Ghana here. Sci-fi, green screen, robots, and all of that. But I was excited because I, I, me as an actor, I don't like to be fixed in one role, kind of thing where it's like I'm always playing fine boy, I'm always playing lover boy and all of that. I mean, it's good, it's cool if it brings the bag. But at some point, I feel like as an actor, you want to do more, you want to explore your talent because at some point, if you're just doing one kind of role, it makes it like a 9 to 5 for you. And there's a reason why the craft is not a 9 to 5 because you want to explore more, you want to have the freedom to change your hair, to go bald, to bulk up, to slim down for roles. You understand? So
Yeah.
when the script came, I was really excited after reading it, and then the more exciting part was in like shooting it, because I got to wear some cool stuff, because I'm a big movie fan, sci-fi, all of those things. I watch Avengers like there's no Avenger movie I haven't watched. I admire Iron Man, and now I have to wear a suit that looks like Iron Man and all of that. So I was really excited. You know how I am about project. I was
Right.
just in the zone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's I mean it's good to see that you actually like enjoyed working on this project. Particularly I'm also interested in knowing what was it like, what the feeling was like, especially because the film took so long to be complete. Were there moments that you personally felt like, okay, it's going to be one of those things where it's never going to see the light of day, like my efforts into this are not going to be seen, my dedication to my craft is not going to be recognized? Did you ever have like moments like that in those 5 years whilst the film was like, being worked on?
So the secret of it is not sitting down and waiting on that particular kind of project. Is to keep yourself busy and work on other projects. That way, the 5 years will flash by and you wouldn't even realize it. Even though some, what's the name, might be getting updates like, okay, we are trying to do a reshoot or we want you for this, we want you for your voice, we want you for, just like smaller additions to the project for this project to become a whole. So for me, I don't know. It's been 5 years, but it hasn't been really. I've not had that moment where I'm like, oh shit, this thing is never gonna come out because I wasn't at the editing bench. I wasn't at the post production,
Yeah.
bench. So I didn't really feel that kind of 5 year pressure. It's mostly the director and then the producer or the editor who will feel that pressure. But for me, as an actor, I just came, delivered, and then move on to the next project, and it's been project after project after project. And of course, I mean, I get updates. I say, okay, this is the stage of the project. This is the stage of the project. And yeah. So, but I've never had a moment where I felt like, oh, this is not going to see the light. As a matter of fact, I actually just trusted the producer and the director to bring it out. Because I know how passionate the director was about the project as well. You get it?
Yeah.
So I just knew that
I mean,
that passion is going
he's
to bring
still
the project out.
he's still very passionate about it. I recall a time I had a
Yeah,
conversation with him, and I told him, I think you should move on. You should move on from this onto other stuff. I think there was a time I had,
yeah,
not once, multiple times actually, where I kept telling him, bro,
yeah,
move on to something else. So I'm happy that you did also point that out, that as an actor, the burden or the pressure was less on you because you had the luxury to move on to other stuff whilst you waited for the project to be done. So that brings me to my next question.
Yeah.
Now that the project is done, I understand that it's being further developed into a trilogy. That means you are most likely going to go back to work on the project. Are you? Would you say you have the same energy or the same enthusiasm that you had before going into the sequel, or would you say things have changed for you?
I wouldn't say I have the same energy. As a matter of fact, I would say I have even more energy now because
Wow.
come on, you just took an award, 3 awards at the Miami, Sci-Fi Film Festival, and that means that my energy should be more than when there wasn't any award in sight. You
Yeah.
get it because this is like our baby, and
Yeah.
now it's about to grow. Thankfully, or inshallah, if we get investors to come on board, that means that we are going to do bigger stuff.
Right.
So my energy is pumped up. My energy is pumped up. But in terms of performance, now I think I'm going to even perform even better because I've grown within that 5 years time. I've taken acting coaching. I've taken acting classes. I've found way to better myself as an actor, in all of that. So, of course, I'm going to come from a total different direction right now, but in terms of energy, I'm full up, I'm full up, I'm full up.
Right. Right. I'm happy for you. I mean,
Yeah.
before I move away from that, you also do have like a background in writing, right? And
Right, right, right.
yes, let me ask you that. Which one do you prefer, like doing most, or which one do you enjoy doing most, being a writer
Oh,
or being an actor? And I know you directed a bit as
I don't
well.
think this is a hard question. This is very, let me be an answer before you finish. This is a very simple answer.
Okay.
It's acting. I enjoy acting. Writing was just a coping mechanism for me because in the industry, I it's very hard for me to do 9 to 5. You get it. So I always find ways to eat around the industry, even if I'm not able to get acting job at the moment. You get it. So I started writing mostly for commercial reasons, But then I realized that writing doesn't even pay like that in Ghana here. You understand? Directors want a good story, but
Yeah.
for a bad budget. You get it. But guess what? They rather go and rent uh, quality cameras, to come and shoot a baller project. So I just realized that the the industry is distorted, kind of, you know. But to answer your question straight up, acting is my first love,
Okay.
no matter what. I always say I can act for free, even though I don't ask for free, please, directors and producers, you give me small. But I can act for free. But writing, I could never ever write for free because writing is a very tedious job, especially for someone like me who's struggling with ADHD.
Yeah.
Writing is like really, really tedious, even though I love the writing process and all of that. So 100% is going to be acting.
Wow. Interesting. I mean, I can tell from how passionately you responded or answered to the question. But that would bring us to our conversation for today. I mean, when I actually reached out, I was brooding over what exactly we could talk about. Like I wanted to be sure what would be the ideal topic for us to talk about. And I felt like you've had very, very valid or very strong opinions about the state of the Ghanaian film industry, the evolving landscape of the Ghanaian
Right.
film industry. And I've always wondered what is the perspective or how things look from the perspective of an actor like you, right? Like yourself, who is up and coming. So that essentially is what I wanted to have a conversation with you about. Right. So I mean, my first question to you is, as an actor, what would you say, or how would you describe the current state of the Ghanaian film industry?
So this question is kind of like is whenever someone asks me that, it gives me mixed feeling because you know how the industry is today. You can wake up with full energy, like okay, this is gonna work. And then the next minute, something just happened, and you're like, no, this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
That's how the industry is. But I guess that is how almost every industry is. Especially startup industry.
Yeah.
But to answer the question, I, I'm one of the few people who are like very hopeful that things are going to turn out good,
Okay.
because now I'm seeing that there are people just coming up, and sometimes I come across other people, and just through conversations, and you're like, oh, if we have like two or three of your kind, the industry is going to work, so some of those things, I am a very optimistic person, so I tend to kind of hold on to the little thing, the little positive stuff
Yeah.
that is going on in the industry, and for me, that is just like okay, um, it can work. You get it.
Yeah.
So I'm very optimistic that things are going to work out. Even though we have like huge challenges going on right now as an industry, but I am very positive that so far as we don't stop filmmaking, there's one day there's going to be a filmmaking revolution.
Okay.
You understand? Because our senior colleagues have done their best, and then they probably put their equipment down. Now it is our time to start picking up those equipment and then start telling stories. You know, so um, to answer this straightforward, I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. It's gonna work out.
So when you say an evolution, what does that evolution really look like to you? What would you say, or what are the things that you would see, or you would expect to see when that evolution takes place?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
You said you are you are anticipating an evolution in the space, right? In the Ghanaian film
Yeah,
space, and I'm trying to find out from you
right.
that what are the things that you would see that would make you say, oh, the evolution is happening. What what are the things that you, yeah.
First of all, when we start having strong guilds, like the Actors Guild, Directors Guild, because right now we know those things exist, but we really don't know what a lot of them their functions are. You get it?
Yeah.
A lot of actors are there, they don't even know that there's an Actors Guild, they don't know that they have to register with the Actors Guild. Anybody can just wake up and say, I'm an actor.
But let me
Anybody can
ask
just
you,
wake up and say,
are you registered to the Actors Guild?
hmm?
Are you registered to the Actors Guild?
But that's the thing, though. This is what I'm saying. You get it? It has to come to the stage where people realize the function of the Actors Guild and then go there.
Okay.
You get what I mean? Like, for example, if you want to be in the military, you don't just wake up and say, I want to be, I'm a soldier.
Yeah.
Get it? But you go through the due process. You go to wherever they are recruiting. You get
Yeah.
what I mean? But right now, because the industry is not that solid, all of us can just be there without being certified actors.
Yeah.
And some are even making like big projects, but they are not part of the Actors Guild. You get
Yeah.
it? And sometimes you realize that some of the actors are even kind of like, I don't even know how to put it, but when we start having some of these girls coming up, when we start having stronger conversations, when we start having young people, the youth, you know, taking leadership within those kind of girls, and you realize, okay, the revolution is starting because that is what we need. We need the revolutionary idea. We need ideas that can say, hey, F everybody, whatever your ego is going on, if you have something to do with someone, go handle it. Right now we are trying to work together as an industry. And that is the revolutionary idea. You understand? When we come together, when we when we just put everything aside and realize that it is us, it is us versus us. There's no outside force. You get it? There is no Nigerians working as, there is no South Africans working as, there is no Hollywood working as. It is just us who are not allowing ourselves, to excel. You get it? So if we now come together as an industry and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We are going to put every ego aside and work together. Now that is the evolution that I am looking forward to.
Wow. So you are looking at that evolution taking place, or being very like strong in the acting side of the industry. That's what you're saying.
So the thing is that it doesn't even have to happen at once, but
Okay.
it is gonna happen like gradually, and then before you realize, maybe there's going to be one grand seminar, and then you go there and you see everybody that you think that they don't like each other under the same roof. You get it, and then you realize that okay, something is about to happen. You understand? So that is what I'm talking about.
So yeah, I see what you are trying to say. Like I see what you are where you are going with this. Personally, I felt that it's true. The Actors Guild, in particular, I don't see what exactly their role is. And I asked that question about you if you were a member of the guild. But I know it's difficult or it's not appealing for young talents like yourself to want to be a part of the guild, because every time you hear about the Actors Guild, for instance, it's one court case or another. So why then would young actors go into it? But then again, let me ask you this: what would you say ideally if these guilds, particularly the Actors Guild, was in place? What would you like for them to do for actors?
First of all, auditions.
You want the Actors Guild to do
There's a
auditions?
lot of people who put out auditions and all of that, and there's no like anybody can just wake up and put out an audition. That is
Okay,
how come a lot of
okay, I get you now.
people are taking advantage of that and then charging people to come and audition. That's a crazy idea. They'll charge you to come and audition. Nobody charges you to go on a job interview. You get it? But in this part, because we don't have a strong actors guild, anybody can just take advantage of young coming up actors. You get it? So first of all, that, and also certification. I know that they have like a card or something like that that they can issue for actors, but it has to be stronger. That we are probably applying for something to travel. We can use it as proof of um, occupation. You get it? If you use it, because acting it's a big time occupation. You get it? But because we don't have all of this, that is why a lot of actors are doing 3 to 4 jobs. They have side businesses. Sometimes if they're acting in a side business while they do their regular business, because it's not that serious. You get it? A lot of actors cannot depend on just acting. You understand? And these are some of the things, and the Actors Guild should be able to look out for in terms of these things. You get it? So those are just the few things that I think they can do for us. And also just like um, regulating fees. You get it? A lot of actors are getting cheated because of all of these things. You know, you go on set, you deliver your payments, now you have to beg to get the payments. It's not
Wow.
cool. You get what I mean? And I'm sure even those who are part of the Actors Guild right now are going through those problems. And it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
If you're in the guild and then you go into a job and then the job is not paying you, the guild should be able to stand up for you. You understand? There's a reason why you are in the guild. That means that you are in part. So if someone is not giving you what's due, you go to the pack, right? And then the
Yeah.
pack will go to them. Get it? So there's a lot the Actors Guild they have to do for us. Especially those who are registered under them.
I feel you on that part. There's actually a lot that I believe the Actors Guild are supposed to do. But again, back on your idea of an evolution taking place in the Ghanaian film space, what would you say? I think you've spoken a lot about the kind of changes you'd want to see from the Actors Guild or from the actors side, right? But
Right.
what would you say? What would you say is missing on the other side? When I say the other side, specifically, I'm talking about the producers, because the producers are the people that more or less bring all the other like aspects of filmmaking together. What would you
Right.
say is missing on that side that makes it difficult for you being an actor? I know you've talked about, you know, payments delaying and
Yeah.
all of that, but what else? Like, what more can you say about that?
So, see, the thing is that with this industry, it's like, I don't know if you've been seeing that TikTok or Facebook videos where they just arrange, for example, these cars, right? They arrange the cars in such a way that they are all standing. And then when they push one, everything falls.
Yeah, dominoes. The domino
You get
effect.
it?
Yeah.
The domino effect, right? Thank
Yeah.
you. So that is how I feel like this industry is. So in as much as the actor is crying to the producer and he says, producer is not paying me, producer is probably crying to executive producer and saying, yo, we need to pay actors. Executive producer's business is not going on more. You get it? So it's like a hamster wheel, it's the problem keeps recycling itself and recycling itself. But when as regards to producers and actors, I just want to encourage my producers to embrace new faces, to embrace new faces, because guess what? A lot of the times producers complain that, oh, these actors, when you use them for your movies, they're not going to promote the movie or whatever, you know. But
Right.
bro, they are like very young, energetic people like myself who promote the movie like as if they produce the movie. You get it? So, and also I get it. They are trying to sell their movie, so that's why they go for the bigger faces, the celebrities. But however, times are changing. You get it? So I just want to encourage the Ghanaian producers to try and try and try and try, and put in a lot of young actors. So the Reform also did it in a last project, and if you saw how the young artists were pushing it up, I've got my colleagues like Mujo Boache in there, and a couple of them. Then they were pushing it because when you put in the young artists like that, remember that they also have friends and families, and a lot of them have they build their pages to become influencers. So when you put them in there, they propagate the movie. So that is what may I would need producers to do for us. Just put our faces out there. It's good to gamble, man. It's good to gamble.
Continuing the conversation, I think I do agree with you a lot about the introduction of new faces, and I think it's a never-ending argument, because when you speak to producers, yes, they do talk about they having to rely on known faces to sell the film, and there's always usually that argument about casting popular people versus casting talented people, and how it affects the business around the film. What would you say? What would you say is your approach as an actor to try and balance it out? Because on one breath, you'd have to be popular to land certain roles, and it's not all that popularity, in my opinion, doesn't matter if you don't have the talent. So for you as an actor, how do you balance that out?
So times have changed, from traditional casting.
Right.
Right now, we live in a social media world where actors can build themselves, can create an audience for themselves. So I always tell every actor to try as much as they can to build an audience for themselves. Hence, um, you can couple the acting with influencing, shooting skills, and all of that. Because guess what, if I walk in a room with probably Jeffrey Norton, you understand? He is very known for shooting skits. You get it? So if I walk in a casting room, they're probably going to look at it first before they look at me. You get it? Forget talent. I could be more talented than him. I could be more whatever than him. But if both of us walk into the same casting room, because that's the reality. You get it? So I always tell actors that there was this video about Denzel Washington saying, "Oh, actors." He was giving advice to I think a young actor. He was like, "Forget social media." Da, 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 da. And I was like, "No, let's." I adore Denzel Washington. I love Denzel Washington, but that advice is a no-no because when they were doing casting at his time, it was totally different from now. Ask Denzel Washington when was the last time he went for an audition? Probably 3 decades ago. Yeah, so you cannot sit down as an actor in 2020, yeah, in 2025, with your catalog is not built. And then there's social media, a great tool for you. And then there's Washington who is like his career is already made. Tells you to leave social media, you also leave social media. Bro, you're not gonna get jobs.
Right.
And that is how come a lot of TikTokers are getting the jobs, and professional actors are not getting the jobs. Because professional actors are sitting down waiting for a casting director to look at their talent and look at how authentic they are. But those days are far gone. You get it? It's a marketing. That's what they call show business. You have to understand this as an actor. You have to realize that okay, this is the time. This is this now. Now it's not the time for me to sit on my couch and wait for an audition flyer to come out. No, build on your audience. There's social media for you. So that guess what? When they are casting for popularity, your name can be in there. When they are casting for talent, your name can also be in there. And that is my 2 cents on that.
Right. I think that's spot on. Personally, I have my reservation about should I say talents that use the skits route to get into the space. Personally, I have my reservations about that because I feel like it sort of like waters down the work that an actor is supposed to do to be seen. That's my opinion, right? Because I feel like it becomes a shortcut for most people, not necessarily like growing their talent, not necessarily like perfecting their skill, but only riding on the virtue of the fact that they've amassed numbers, right? And then they get thrown into lead roles, or they get called in to come play some very pivotal roles in some very important scripts, and they disappoint. But just for the mere fact that they have the numbers, or just for the mere fact that they are able to get people to come watch the film, they land the role, and then it takes something away from the film, in my opinion. So I'm very critical about that.
I agree.
Yeah, there have been times I've had young talents which like ask me what I think about being on TikTok and then putting out videos, and I'm like, bro, I mean, if you are doing that, you might as well also be working on your talent as well, because at the end of the day, you get exposed at some point. I feel like at the end of the day, you would get exposed, particularly if you get faced with a role, or you land a role that it's more challenging than what you put on TikTok. But I digress. Let me ask you this also. I think we said a lot about some of the challenges, or what you believe are some of the things that can be done to sort of like get things better, to get sort of like an evolution in the Ghanaian film space. I'm interested in knowing from you, okay, beyond that evolution, what would you say, or what is your thoughts or hope for the future of the industry? What do you really want to see happening? Like, what would you say is the pinnacle, or when would you say that the Ghanaian film industry has reached its apex? What would be that for you?
When our movies are made up to standard,
Interesting.
when we don't give excuses as to, oh, because we are in Ghana, that's why we make such films. You know, as a movie critic myself, I watch movies from everywhere. And cinema has a language. It has a universal language. Which is not the oral language. But when you tell it and it speaks the universal language, guess what? No matter the oral language you use, it's still going to fit. People are still going to relate to it. You get it? Just yesterday, I was watching a South African movie, and they were speaking Tosa. I watch Indian movies and they speak Indian. We grew up on Chinese movies and they're speaking Chinese. You understand? You, as a movie freak, probably have been watching Turkish movies, Arabian movies, and the language they speak does not matter.
Yeah, not to catch you. Actually, today one of the films I watched or I worked on today was actually they were speaking Croatian, from Croatia.
Croatian, see.
Yeah. And it was. I mean, I loved the film. It was very limited dialogue, but like you said, the film language was there.
Exactly. So for me, until we get to that peak where I can show my catalog to a Hollywood producer, and then you not look at me in a demeaning way or like look at me as a joke, then I know that, okay, our industry has reached it. You understand? And South Africans do that. You get it? There's this lady from South Africa, Tuso Mbeki. She just got casted for the Nigerian book adapted. They've adapted to make a Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
And the one who did The Woman King, when you're able to move from such an industry to Hollywood, it's less of a struggle. You get it? Because you come from a place where you make quality films. You get it? So for me, until we get to that peak where we make movies which are really like standard, where I can carry the movie and move to festival, directors to directors, what's the name, investors to investors, then we've reached that point. Steven Spielberg saw RRR and he couldn't sit down, and he was talking to SS Rajamouli about how he loves the movie. One, the movie is not even made in the popular Indian language. It's made one of the minority language in India. You understand? But because it has that cinema language, it has the universal cinema language, he was able to fit in. You get it? So for me, until we get to that peak of, okay, we make a movie, either action, drama, sci-fi, whatever, we make that movie and we realize that, no, story check, equipment check, performance check, cinematography check, and all of that. Until we reach that point, then we've not reached yet. So that is when I'll know that, okay, my dreams or my goals for the industry have come true.
Right. That's very profound. That's very, very profound. I'd like to wrap this up with you. I mean, giving us a bit of advice, right? Particularly for actors, because I remember earlier on you made mention of the fact that you've taken the time to take like acting classes or coach, have an acting coach, or essentially made efforts to build your craft. What advice would you give to any young actor watching this pod, and what direction would you want them to go in terms of growing or honing that talent that they have?
When it comes to advice, I suck at giving advice because everybody in their journey, everybody wants to. Some actors have never sat in an acting class and they're very successful. Some actors have bachelor degrees in acting and you don't even know them. You get it? So it's like everybody and what works for them. But this is what works for me, or this is what is working for me. I love learning. I love learning about the craft. I take acting classes whenever that I can, from Nigeria, South Africa, and a lot of them you can find them online. You
Right.
know, I take sometimes even some Hollywood actors have like a whole acting coaching and acting packages. You can subscribe to on masterclass, or just be thirsty for knowledge. And that is me. I just want to, because it's intriguing. The job of an actor is very intriguing for me. So you find me, always reading about stuff, always, watching stuff. There are a lot of movies that I watch as my classes. You get it. I just watch them because I want to learn, and I keep watching them. And every time I watch, I learn something new, and that is for me. You get it either from a particular actor's performance, or how the story is being told, or the choices of that actor. So that is what has really worked for me. And also, in terms of like direction, I am pretty much someone who right now is just like building on my talents. So I do a little bit of skits, and then I do film also, like traditional film. You get it? So just like to confuse people like you who said, okay, you don't wanna, you don't like the way people are directing from the skit into the
Nah, I
craft. So
mean,
what I do is that because I'm an actor.
right.
You get it? I'm an actor first. I'm not a comedian. I'm not a TikToker. I am not like I'm an actor. I want to have a script. I want to read a script. I want to break down the script. I want to try to get into the character. I want to wear costume. And feel like I'm in the character. You get it? And that is not how everybody wants it. Some people just want to mount their camera, dance on TikTok, and then they blow. That is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. A lot of people are doing cool stuff. But for me, I'm an actor first, and that is what I always do.
Right. I'm an actor first, and that is what I would always do. Thank you for your profound advice. You said you don't like to advise, but you actually give very profound.
I don't know if that's an advice, but,
I'm sure
but
someone
yeah.
I'm sure someone will listen and then will take a word or two from this. I just want to say thank you for making time to join us on the CineVersations podcast, and we are looking forward to some other projects that you are involved in the future. I'm looking forward to
Right.
meeting you on bigger stages, bigger platforms. Of course, in the sequels
Yeah.
of the B.A.T.U Project as well. I'm looking forward to those as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, congratulations all around, and thank you again for making time to join us on the CineVersations to have this conversation. But yeah, thank you very much. Right, so yeah, that was the conversation we just had, or the CineVersations we just had with Majeed Suhuyini on this pod. If you enjoyed the conversation, please do well to leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and yeah, like this video, share it, subscribe to this channel if you already haven't. You can check out all the other content that we have on this platform, and most importantly, keep loving film for the love of film. About